All right, so the deaths of dozens of young men across 11 states and 25 cities were declared accidental drownings, but now new surveillance video puts them back in the headlines. It's called the Smiley Face Killer. That case has become front page news again. There's a lot more to it than we know. CNN's Randy Kay reports from New York.
Don, the group tracking the Smiley Face Killer cases say they've added several new cases to their database. They say the cases they're studying date back actually to 1997, maybe even earlier. Now, in all, they've looked at more than 150 drownings in the U.S., which they call suspicious. We find it on a tree at the Port of Albany, New York. A smiley face painted in white, staring back at us. What do you see here?
What I see is a circle, two eyes, a nose, no mouth, but it clearly represents a smiley face.
Bill Sostak believes this smiley face was left behind by someone who killed his son. 21-year-old Joshua Sostak's body washed up in the Hudson River. Is he the latest victim of the smiley face killers? Retired detectives Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte came to find out. They believe a gang of killers may have murdered as many as 40 college-aged men in nearly a dozen states, leaving these 6 smiles as their trademark. Tell me what you believe is happening to these students.
I believe that these young men are being abducted by individuals in the bars, taken out, and at some point even held for a period of time before they are entered into the water.
The murders, they say, are staged to look like drownings. Each has been ruled accidental. Case closed. Do you think it's possible all of these drownings around the country could be a coincidence?
I find it ironic that so many young college-age males that fit the same profile wind up in a river from a night out.
Bill says his son drank a few beers that night, but at 220 pounds would not have been so drunk he'd wander into the water. Why would the killer or killers put the bodies in the water? Detective Duarte says water makes it the perfect crime. It makes it look like a drowning instead of a murder. And it erases key evidence, such as fingerprints or hair fibers, so the killer can't be identified. Gannon and Duarte work the cases backwards. Instead of looking at where the body was found, they use GPS and study river flow and water levels to figure out where the body went in. That's the crime scene, they say, and that's where the smiley faces have been found. What kind of person would do that?
Someone not good in school, someone obviously not smart, maybe doesn't have a job, maybe he's not popular.
So jealousy possibly could be a motive?
Deep down, deep down.
Kevin Gannon won't discuss the cases in detail, but says he believes 3 of the victims were held for hours and maybe abused.
The fear of death is just as important as the act of death itself.
The FBI has its doubts. The Bureau told us, to date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths or any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. What do you believe in your heart happened to your son that night?
He was murdered.
Coincidence or killing spree? Sergeant Gannon, who has put in so much time investigating this with his team, says they have also concluded 3 other suspicious deaths of young men found in the water were homicides. Now, in one case here in New York, the investigators say the young man was stalked, drugged, tied to a chair, and tortured before his body was slipped into the water. They hope to convince federal authorities to look at these cases further. Don?
All right, thank you very much for that, Randy Kay. We're going to dig deeper inside of this because joining me tonight is Christy Peel in Minneapolis, and Bill Sostak is in Albany, New York. Christy is an investigative reporter. She broke the smiley face killer story the same week that Josh Sostak, Bill's son, was buried. The two worked independently over the summer, and Bill believes his son was a victim of the so-called smiley face killer. Thank you both for joining us. I want to ask you this, Christy. First of all, let's get this out there because I think this is the crux of this new information. This surveillance video that you managed to get a hold of. We're going to play it, and I want you to tell us what we're seeing on it. Can we roll that, and then we'll talk to Christy about what it is. What you see in the highlighted area here, do you believe that this is Josh, right? Is that what police believe?
Yes. Without a doubt, based on what he's wearing, based on the inside video, and you see him walking out, it's absolutely Josh Sostak.
Give us the circumstances. He's walking out of a bar.
He's walking out of a bar. We had seen him inside. He had had a few drinks. He was standing fine, and all of a sudden, he will grab onto his knees. He heaves. It's like a hot flash hits him. He tries to take off his clothes, and then he stumbles around, and it's like he doesn't know where he is, and he's in his hometown.
It would appear just from looking from the video, and it's just from the video I'm saying this, maybe he was slipped something. Do you believe that, Mr. Sostak?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. How do you think this helps police with your son's killing? Do you think they're taking this seriously? Are they looking into this to your satisfaction?
No, the Albany Police Department closed this case hours after his autopsy, even before the toxicology reports were back. They feel as though that this is a tragic death. There was an accidental drowning, and as they stated, any other conclusion is to further gain. They never even looked at the surveillance video from the bar that we're looking at right now.
What are you hearing from the police department, Christy?
Excuse me?
What are you hearing from the police department?
You know, the police department hasn't commented about this case except to call it a tragic accident. I think that what's tragic here is that the Sostak family, like so many other families out there, doesn't have answers and goes to sleep every night not knowing what happened to their son. Clearly, something happened to Josh Sostak. He ended up 2 miles away from this location in the opposite direction of where he was staying that night, where his car was, and he's not seen on any other surveillance video. I don't know how he could have gotten there unless someone else took him to the water's edge.
Mr. Sostak, have you heard from anyone who's in this crowd when you're looking at the surveillance video, anyone who was with your son that night that offers you any hope about what might have happened to him?
Talking to the 6 boys who were with my son that night, and when they looked at the surveillance video, they said the reaction of Josh out in front of the bar was not Josh inside the bar. That was a total different reaction, and they feel the same as everybody else, that he was given some sort of a drug.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Sostak, we appreciate you joining us. We know it's very tough for you. And Christy, the investigative reporter who uncovered this story, thank you both for joining us, and we hope that this does offer some hope to the Sostaks and some help with police in figuring out what's going on with these deaths. Both of you, please come back if you get any new information. Our hearts are with you.
Thank you.